Welcome to Module 7 of the YouTube Video Ads section of Video Ads Academy. In this video, we're going to discuss video structure best practices, how you want to structure your videos, the process that you want to go about when you're creating your campaign. Okay, so the first thing we're going to jump into are process types. And basically, that just mean, these are the types of processes you're going to run for your campaign. Okay, first, and we talked about this, I think, in the overview video, but you have your video lead gen model, where that's basically squeeze pages. If you're doing webinars, you're getting people to register, you're sending them to that. Applications, if you're getting people to fill out, if you have like a service or what have you. Same thing with short form submits. That's for like service-based businesses or whatnot. Long form submits. Basically all of those type of, lead generation type of situations that you're trying to get people to do. I mean, and I didn't put it here, but I forgot to mention like phone calls, text messages, getting someone to subscribe for text messages. I didn't even put those in there, but those are another form of video lead generation. Anything that you're doing to generate a lead, that's what I'm talking about. And I'm going to show you like an example of the process and kind of how to break down. And I'm going to break down each type of sub process under each one of these. And the next one is the YouTube video to checkout page. And that's basically the video sales letter, hosting it on YouTube, linking out to your order page. Okay. Then you have the video pre-sale, which is basically like it's sort of like a lead gen, but not necessarily, because you might just be pre-selling them on, something where you're not necessarily sending them to gather a lead. You may be sending them to another video, or you may be sending them off to a sales page or another video sales letter, or whatever the case may be, a software demo or what have you. So you use the video pre-sale method to kind of, raise awareness about it, give them a little bit of info, entice them to want to know more, and then send them off. And then the last but not least, the build a following model, where basically your goal is to build a following, get subscribers on YouTube to kind of grow your channel and your subscriber base. All right, so let's jump into the first one in the video lead gen, and I call this the short and punchy teaser. Okay, it's basically like a commercial. Basically you see the commercials on TV, or whatever, and that's basically the model for this. And the goal is to get them off YouTube as fast as possible. That's like really the goal, because you're trying to generate a lead. In order to do that effectively, you got to get them off of YouTube. So you hit them with a short, punchy, powerful message to get in a call to action to get them to hop off of YouTube and go take the action that you want. Typically 30 seconds to a minute long, roughly, give or take. I mean, obviously there are things that are outside the norms, but 30 seconds to a minute is about the norm. And these are really the best type of ones you want to use for in-stream. I mean, you could also run them, other in-search and in display. But in-stream, these are really the best kind to run for in-stream, because typically, nobody's going to watch a 4, 5, 10-minute video. I could be wrong, but in my testing, the shorter ones work the best to try to get someone to take action, because you're especially if it's a pre-roll ad, you're trying to get somebody to do something. They was in the process of getting ready to watch a video, and you're trying to get them to do something else. So that's why I think these work, best in terms of, at least my testing tell me they work better, and I think that's the reason why. Then you have what's called the education-based teaser, where basically you're going to teach them something. It's like a trust builder. You want to kind of give value first, where it's not so much hit them in the mouth, like the short and punchy is like, hit them in the mouth. The education-based is more like, let me teach you something. Let me give you my best tip, my best piece of advice, and then you want more. And when you want more, I'll lead you to want more. You can subscribe to my newsletter, or go here and do whatever. But the goal is to generate a lead. If they want to get more information, you send them. You give them a call to action and they go. And these work good for in-stream as well. Again, if they're short, 2 to 4 minutes, it'll probably work well. But I think they're better for in display and in search for what I've seen. And I could be wrong, but I think they're better for those. And again, 2 to 4 minutes is about roughly where you want to be. None of this stuff that I'm telling you has to be what I'm saying. I'm just giving you, based on my experience, and I'm telling you what's worked and from the data that I have. Okay. And then here's sort of like an example process. And one of you, you may have seen this. Basically I have an ad at the top. That ad drives someone to my video with a and inside of my video I have a external link annotation call to action. They can click here and join Video Ads Academy early notice list. And it takes them off to a lead capture page where you enter your name and your email for me to notify you as soon as, I open this up to the public or what have you. And that's basically the video lead gen model in a nutshell for just, name and email type of situation. But again, you can modify it where this same process can work, if you're doing, long form, short form submit, all the other methods that I mentioned earlier. But that's just to give you like a visual of what the process is so you can kind of understand. And then you can kind of go back through this video later if you need to and kind of study these different models. So the next one is the YouTube video to check out. Okay, now VSLs are king with this. I mean, I can tell you the 3 best campaigns that I've run using these techniques out of, close to maybe a dozen by now. The VSL ones just kicks major league butt. And, I know it flies in the face of conventional wisdom, but man, they work. They are king. Now, I'll tell you, these don't work in stream because typically a video sales letter is going to be, it's not going to be very short. Because in your video sales letter, that's your entire pitch that you're using to actually get someone to give you their credit card information. You're probably not going to be able to pull that off in like a couple of minutes. So most VSLs are probably 15, 20 minutes on up. I've seen them as long as, hour and a half. So nobody's going to sit there and watch your entire VSL when they was getting ready to do something else, And again, here, good copy is good copy. And the reason I put that there is because, it flies in the face of conventional wisdom. People say, and I've had my colleagues, my clients, so many people challenge me and say, man, that don't make sense. You actually took a VSL, video sales letter, a salesy video sales letter, hosted it on YouTube and drove ads to that and actually made ROI off of it. And at the end of the day, if you have the right message and match it up with your target audience, put it in front of the right people, good copy is good copy. If it performs somewhere else, it'll perform there. Now, ideally, that's the point. You probably want to run with something that's already been proven. But I mean, because of the price of the views to get a view is so cheap, it may be worth testing your VSL here first. I mean, think about it for a second. If you're paying to get a click to a web page that has a VSL on it, what's the difference between that same click to get someone to view your video on YouTube? It's the same as another click. You can get these things from 6, 10, 15, 20 cents a view, whereas the average click will probably cost you 50, 75, $1, depending on your market. It may be even higher than that. So you can get views to your video sales letter, at a fraction of what it typically would cost. And at the end of the day, good copy is good copy. If it's going to convert in another situation, it's going to convert on YouTube. And then length really doesn't matter. I mean, I've tested, 21 minutes up to an hour and 10 minutes, and they work like gangbusters. So, your video sales letter should be as long as it takes to sell your stuff. And I'm not, getting into, how to create video sales letters and all of that. I'm just saying, like, don't take this for granted. It'll work. Test it out. The worst thing that can happen, you can test it and it don't pan out. Okay. Webinar recordings. That's another one that, people like, are you serious? Yes. You have a webinar that you typically sell stuff. Take your webinar recording, load it up on YouTube, drive some ads to it. At the end of the webinar thing, you have a pitch at the end of the webinar. Throw your annotation link on them, send them to the order page. Send them to the checkout page. Google Hangout recordings. A lot of people doing Google Hangouts now. You automatically have a recording when your Hangout is over. When the Hangout is, structured in a way, a lot of people are selling from their Hangout, so they generating leads from their Hangouts or what have you. Once you structure that in a way, and configure that Google Hangout video like I'm showing you in the video under these sections for how to configure your videos. Just take that Hangout recording and configure it the same way. Software demos crush. I mean, when you have a piece of software that solves a problem and you already are making sales with it, record your demo, load it up on there, drive ads to it. Software demos crush. Matter of fact, if you got a piece of software that's serving a purpose and you already are making sales with it and you want to, get in touch with me, I love to work with you because software demos I think software demos might even be better than the video sales letter model. But I haven't tested enough of them yet, but I want to. So anyway, we'll get off of that soapbox, but yes. So yeah, YouTube video to check out, it works. So here's a refresher, basically how it works. You have an ad, someone click the ad, it drives them, you can see the arrow pointing, the arrow drives them to the video. The actual video has a link inside of the video that they can click on. It takes them to the order page. They click order and then boom, you get, your money spit out. So that's basically the YouTube video, the checkout page, process visual to kind of give you an idea, of what it looks like. And, you'll be able to download this, download the PDF for this particular presentation. So you don't have to try to, do anything with it. You'll be able to download this. So if whenever you need a refresher, instead of you having to come back and watch this video again, you can just go through, the PDF of the slides. And then we have what's called the video pre-sale. Okay, and a video pre-sale also has what's called the education-based version. And basically this is just like a blog post turned into a video. Think of like how a blog post is, because if you go to a blog and you're going to read that post, something's making you want to read that post. And basically you can take that same model and you can turn that into a video, because it's just content. It's just repurposing content, into a video and then using that to drive leads and sales. Okay. 4 to 10 minutes long. 10 minutes is probably on the high end. 4 to 5 minutes is probably better. But, you'll have to test it and see what works for you. But that's about the range that I would recommend. And these are good for in-display and in-search. Again, for in-stream, you can test it. But I think they may be a little bit too long, for the in-stream. So what I found in-display, in-search probably worked the best. Then there's the testimonial model, okay? And this is basically if you have a testimonial where someone is really talking up your product or service, about the benefits they gain or the results that they achieve, those are going to be the primary types of testimonial ones that you can use, because nothing's more powerful than someone giving you praise or whatnot. And you can take that, you can load it up on YouTube and you can drive ads to it, and you can use your call to actions to send them to find out more information about your product. You can also use these. One strategy that I've implemented with this is video retargeting. So initially you drive someone to your videos. Now they're acquainted with you. You set up your video retargeting campaigns where you basically are showing them, 3 or 4 different testimonials, because they say, 5 to 7 touch points for someone to make a buying decision, right? So they're already familiar with your product. Obviously, they clicked on an ad of yours or been to your website or what have you. When they're on YouTube again, you can hit them with testimonials to make them be like, wow, I better really check this out. Very, very powerful, branding technique. And then it's best if you can have a person that fits your target market that looks like the person that you're going after, because you want that other person on the other end to be like, hey, that's me. I identify with that person, even what they're talking about, and as well as, visually speaking, hey, that person looks like me, and they'll identify with it. So if you can do that, and hey, you can easily buy these on Fiverr. I mean, I'm not recommending that you do some shady stuff or you faking things or whatever, the case may be. But I mean, you can buy testimonials on Fiverr and they're very powerful. I actually used that with an affiliate offer that I was testing. And I basically just went to Fiverr and got someone to create me, a video. And I was able to use that. Now, what you want to do is you want to keep these under like 3 minutes. Really like a minute to 2 minutes, is probably long enough. Like, at some point it's overkill. So I would say 3 minutes would probably be the max that I would go, on these. But, you may have something better, I don't know. But that's a rule of thumb. Again, it's not set in stone, just kind of a rule of thumb of, what I think. Then the last variation of the pre-sale is what I call a review style. Okay. Now the review style, basically you can use these where you can you're showing a physical item that you bought. And maybe you are an affiliate or promoting it or whatever. And these work really well. I see people who have built really big followings on YouTube use this technique where they'll review an item and then they'll say, hey, go, I'm going to show you about it. Go check it out. And you can also do this with digital products if you do like a screen recording as well. And then, make sure you always discuss the pros and the cons, because nothing's perfect. And people aren't stupid, right? So, tell them the good and the bad, because ultimately they're never going to find nothing that's going to be exactly perfect for what they want. But tell them the pros and the cons so they know what they're going up against. Make sure you put that in your reviews. And here again, the length varies. And the reason I put that is because, all products are different. You could be reviewing something that's worth $5,000, or maybe you're reviewing like a $20 Amazon item. You know what I mean? Like, so the length varies. It just really depends on your market and things of that nature. But yeah, the review style works very, very well. And last but not least, the build a following process. Subscribe. That's what you want to get people to do. That's your goal of everything that you do. You're trying to get people to subscribe. The other part of it is promote your other social media stuff like your Twitter, your Facebook, whatever other social media elements of your social media that you're using. You want to promote those as well. And then I recommend having a monetization strategy first, personally. Again, I'm a direct response guy. And I don't see, it's hard for me to justify spending money when I don't have at least an estimate of what I think I may be able to make. I can say, hey, I'll spend $100. Maybe I'll make 50, because I'm just starting out, and I'm cool with spending $100 and only making 50 or 20 or whatever the case may be. But ultimately, I need to make something, because when you're starting out, you just want to gather data. So you may not really be making much, but you want to at least have the opportunity to make something. That way, that's just how I feel about it. There's ways to do it or whatever, build a following if you have the capital and the budget for it. go for it. This stuff will definitely work for you. But everything that I talk about here is really built around having a monetization strategy, with it. But I at least wanted to put this model out here because I am working with one person right now, and their goal is to build an online video network, and we're gonna work on that. Okay, so I've covered pretty much everything in this particular module 7. Going over all the different processes and things of that nature. I hope this was really, really informative for you. You should have a lot of ideas what I need for you to do right now, or whatever point you at before you create your campaigns. Make sure you understand the structure and the process of what you're going to be doing, because when you get to creating your campaigns, you want to kind of just walk through it. So you want to have all of this ready to go. So the next video is going to be module 8. I'm going to show you how to configure your videos, and that's going to be pretty much that. So I'll see you in the next video.